baby. Good afternoon. We have a special Fired Up live session today. Lisa.
Hello. I haven't seen you all day.
I know. It's been chaos here as per usual. Whoa. I don't know why I keep stopping in my middle of my word with syllables. But anyway, we have a scheduled live here today, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a special one. So sit down, relax, get yourself some coffee, pour yourself some whiskey for the 3:00 Eastern whistle, right? We're going to talk about a lot of different things, and we're going to talk about FedCon. We're going to talk about Craeve Company. We're going to talk about our day-to-day stuff, trying to shift our mindsets. We're going to talk about video content. We're going to talk about a lot of things. So without further ado, I am going to bring on the guest of honor, Miss Chelsea from Craeve Company, CEO. There she is.
Hi.
Welcome to Fired Up Live on Thursday.
I mean, what a better way to roll into my Thursday afternoon. I can't believe it. It's perfect. It's great. I needed this break. I needed the headspace break.
Yes. And Taz Sutherland is already in the building saying, "What's up, everyone?"
Hey, Taz.
Taz is in the building. So people are starting to roll in. I see some people coming in. If you're here, make sure you jump in at any time with your comments. Your questions. We will attend to every single one of them. And, before we jumped on this live, Chelsea and I would just, for like a brief, 10 seconds, we're like, yeah, how do we shift our mindset even from going from, you were in Craeve mode, I was in Malachi Service Master mode, and now all of a sudden I had to run down here and you had to run to your seat, and we're sitting in here like, oh, okay, what are we talking about?
Get it in. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we do this? I mean, it's like chaotic.
It is chaotic. And, I feel like maybe people like us, I mean, I know I thrive a little bit on chaos.
Yes.
I get super bored if things are too quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Not an idle hands kind of person. And that's, I think, that entrepreneur in me, but it gets us in trouble too. Like, I don't know about you, but I know it totally gets me in trouble.
Yes.
So, I literally today, I just wrote myself a bunch of, that's how I transitioned. I literally wrote down some notes of like, what are we talking about? What do I want to make sure? And it's funny, but sometimes having that little prompt and stuff, I mean, it's as simple as that,
Yeah.
It's a struggle. I mean, it is a struggle. When you said it, I was relieved. I was like, oh my goodness, thank God somebody else has the same problem.
Yeah. No, I mean, trouble is our business. I mean, it's like we're always getting ourselves in trouble. We take on too much. We're doing too much. We have all these ideas. We start putting more things into write that down. Let's do that tomorrow. Wait, we didn't do those other 3 things yet, but let's do that too. It is that entrepreneurial thing, like inside you. It's like you keep wanting it. You want to do more because you're excited. You're creative. You're like, I want to grow this thing. I want to build this thing. So yeah, it's fun.
Routine can be boring. Bring on the curve. Yeah. Sorry, I took your line. I literally, it's right. Curveballs they keep you up at night sometimes, but they also make it really exciting and really fun. Yeah.
I mean, that's like part of like they said, like, I think, and like you, me, we thrive. Like you said, we thrive in that chaos. We're our backs up against the wall, like the pressure. Like I do for some strange reason, I do like that. It keeps me going. If it's quiet and we're just sitting here and it's like, okay, we got to do something. We got to change the game here. What's happening? Let's shake it up because I can't. It's tough to just sit there. We have to be doing something constantly. So here we are.
Well, I think that's food service too. I mean, think about it, and I don't know if it's why I was attracted to it or I don't know why, but my background, fun fact, is in theater. Like way, way, way back college. And so my undergrad was in theater, and I always pull that out and people were like, that explains everything about you. But I think it's that show must go on and that kind of being ready at any time and being able to pivot and sort of like living in the moment. And, when you work in a restaurant, all of our clients, I mean, this is what they have to do. Stuff goes around the kitchen. Stuff, happens. And Same thing in manufacturing. I mean, stuff doesn't ship, or, oh my God, did you see that a boat sank with a bunch of like Lamborghinis or something, like really expensive cars?
I haven't seen that one yet. Oh
An
man.
entire like container ship full of, I don't know, a couple $1 billion or some
Man.
crazy amount.
Chelsea,
Some-
where was that? I got some scuba gear I was trying to try out.
Yeah, we could. Someone's gonna find that like 300 years from now, like as they're combing the bottom of the sea.
Be like their $600,000 car. No,
Yeah.
it caught fire. It was on
Yeah.
its way over from Europe to, I think, Connecticut or somewhere, and the whole thing caught fire and it just sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic.
There's nothing but craziness going on out here. It really is wild. But and like talking about all the crazy things like food service and things aren't shipping and stuff, and we talk about like the digital part of it. I'm sure you run into people that'll say, I have too much going on and there's no time for me to shoot video. There's no time for me to create content. There's no time for me to write a blog. There's no time for any of this stuff. And yet we talk about the chaos and finding a way. I mean, we find ways, right? We figure it out.
Yeah.
It's priority. And I think that's something, we're probably going to talk about on that panel at FedCon. Let's talk a little bit about, making this digital branding, marketing and everything, making it a priority.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it's funny, but so, and part of why we started, I think, chatting about talking live today too, is that we're a marketing firm and agency, and we do a lot of sales strategy too. So I like to think of us as a blend. But we just are launching our YouTube series. And, people kept asking me, throughout COVID, all different times, like, why aren't you doing this? And why aren't you in video? And, honestly, it was part of my strategy that I didn't want to do it until I knew where I was going and why I was doing it. And I had that fire in me of like, okay, I got something to say and I'm going to come out and do it. It's not because I don't think that we shouldn't have. Sure, we could have and should have, and we need to get started, but it wasn't yet a priority, to your point, right? It wasn't. I had so many other things to do to build the foundation of the company, of who we are, what we're about, get some wins, go out, figure things out. And then it made natural sense after MOFSI of like, okay, yeah, we have this platform and it's time to use it and let's go for it. And and so we are, and we're figuring it out, and we're trying things, and we're going to try things. I'm sure there'll be things we do that we don't like, and there'll be a lot of things hopefully we do that we love,
Yes.
Well, but we made it a priority, to your point.
Yeah, and you have to. Those are the things that you recognize now. It's like, hey, listen, now we're at a place. It's time. Let's talk a little bit about that. So let's talk about, because this might inspire somebody else to get theirs going. So Craeve Company, we got the YouTube channel going. What are we going to see on there? I know it's going to be educational stuff and tips, and so let's talk about what we're going to see.
Sure. So, fun fact: I don't know all that you're going to see because that's part of the creative process.
Yes.
But I say that half joking too. So yes, it will be very educational focused. And for me, what I've learned a lot from, and also what I enjoy, I'm a verbal and I'm a visual learner. And I like somebody to kind of cut to the chase when I want to learn something. And then I'll go do my research and I'll, fill in the gaps. But I like someone to sort of put it in a bite that I get it. I can place it where it works. And I find a lot of times with people that I talk to in the industry, and when they're kind of stuck, and this is any business, so I shouldn't say even the industry, but when they're stuck, they're just looking for someone to help unstick them. They're just looking for that little like, hey, pull me out of my head, right? Like you and I did it to each other at the beginning. Like let's get out of our heads right now. And that's the point of what we're doing. So Food Service Fridays literally is all about us giving you just that little nugget, digestible, 5 minutes less. I'm sure we'll run over 5 minutes every now and then, but something that you can take and go, okay, why wasn't I thinking about that? Or like, that's a good point. Let's do more of this. That's it. It's as simple as that. I hope that we cause a lot of light bulb moments for people. And I hope we cause a lot of discussion, right? And then we'll just go from there. It is truly the way that we're handling it. So we might go months and months and months and say, every week we've got something, after a couple months, might say, you know what, let's do this other thing. And, that's literally where we're at and what we're doing. And I hope that my hope is that we provide some great education along the way and that people join us. That's funny. That people join us and enjoy it, right? So,
There's your tagline.
Yeah.
To get unstuck, call CStuck.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Jason Hartman, I was actually going to touch on this in a second, so we can bring that up.
Sure.
So,
speaking of your YouTube series, how many episodes in advance have you planned out already? 3 episodes or 6? Just wondering.
yeah, I was gonna jump in and be like, hey, I'm curious because we've done some of that in the past, where we we'll film stuff in advance or stuff. But yeah, I'm curious to know how you guys are doing that.
So, fun fact is same thing. We're kind of deciding that as we go. I had right off the bat about 5, maybe like 4 or 5 clear. Okay, these are things I want to talk about. These are things that I think, would land well, that people would enjoy, will teach them something. And then I kind of, in the middle of doing that, realized a couple things and then said, okay, well, let me go this other direction and started writing. And so Lisa was asking me before we got on, how I go about it. I'm definitely like a notes keeper, and I need a vision and sort of a direction. And then I kind of just go. And so I just have to rein myself in sometimes. And so we've tried both methods. We've tried really scripted. We've tried not really scripted. It'll probably land somewhere in between. We're knee deep in editing about 3 episodes right now. We drop one tomorrow. So, if all goes according to plan, all looks good for that.
Nice.
And that's what we're doing. And so our hope is that, we'll probably batch out a month's worth at a time, and then we'll see what the feedback is, and maybe I'm sure we'll take a poll here in a week or 2 after we give you guys some stuff to chew on. What else you'd like us to talk about, what you'd like to go deeper in. Maybe we'll bring on a guest at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe it's me, but I'm willing to, be flexible. And I think that people should be when you're doing and being creative,
They should. Yeah, and for us, and make sure you're sharing that in the Fed group over on Facebook, as you're putting those up, definitely, so we can get more people in that group kind of interacting with you and the the messages you're putting out. So those light bulb moments for people. The more eyes, we want to get this industry right. We want to lift these people up, but to talk about that stuff too. And Jason, in the same effect for us, when I started back in 2018, the first year was kind of all over the place, and then 2019, I committed to a video a day, which was really hard. And that's where we were really so I did a lot of Tip Tuesdays back then. Yeah. And for anybody watching, there's no right or wrong way. I think you just got to figure it out. But I would film 6, 7, 8 Tip Tuesdays in one day. And I would have to worry about Tuesday. Tuesday was good for the next month or 2. And then we would do the vlog stuff. We do different things. So some stuff was kind of done that way. Some stuff was on the fly. Even when I come in here on the live, Lisa's like, Rich, what are you fired up about today? And I'm like, I'm not really fired up about anything, but let's go live.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's just see where this goes. And then
we basically chat for maybe 5 minutes and pull something out of a hat to be fired up about.
Yeah. And something fun to do. I have this book, Vitamin B, that was given to me. So that's another utilize materials. Yeah, utilize some materials and give your opinion on if someone's watching, what do I talk about? Maybe give your opinion on a book you're reading and different chapters and different points. There's so many different things you could do. And just to get people engaging and talking, and that comes right back to your brand. I mean, people understand that. You're on here right now. Everything that you're doing and saying is attached to Craeve.
Absolutely. And everything that we really, it's funny, and it's a process, right? Brands, businesses, you are always evolving, and embrace that, adapt. My philosophy is literally as simple as it's create something. And we put that in when we were teasing that we were going to do this Food Service Friday. And fun fact, I had this idea literally 3 years ago when I launched the company, and I didn't have I just didn't have the confidence to do it. And I'll admit it, right? I remember being like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to launch this company. And there was so much emotion attached to just doing that, that then putting myself out there further, it's like, I remember then holding it back. And then, a year later, COVID happens and oh my goodness, here we are 3 years later, but, create something. And you can always change, you can always adapt it. You were not tied to who you were or who your brand was. I mean, you're constantly evolving. It's the same thing, actually. Lisa, you were talking in the group about the algorithm stuff.
Yes.
This stuff changes all the time, and it's so frustrating. And I hear you, but the thing is okay, so if it's not working, as well in Facebook, then go where it is working, or test something else, or use the same content. I think Jason maybe even said that in the feed about, make sure you're getting multiple uses out of content,
Yeah, the algorithm thing for us, we were sitting here talking, and I was telling Lisa too, like my LinkedIn, like it was at one point, I'm watching this, like my videos, it's like, oh, you got 2,000-3,000 views, I'm getting 20-30 comments. I'm like, LinkedIn is on fire. And now if you go to my LinkedIn, it's like 78 views on the video, 1 comment. I got nothing going on. And that's been happening for weeks now. And I'm like, something's not right here. Something's up. So I mean, and you talk to people like this Kurt Mercandante. I don't know if I'm saying that right. He's a big LinkedIn guy that I'm with, and he jumped in and I talked about the algorithm, and he said, Rich, don't pay attention to the algorithm. Just keep putting out valuable content. People will come, people will follow, people will engage. Yep. Just keep grinding it out. And I'm not usually one to pay attention to algorithms or looking at all these. I mean, I look at some insights here and there, but I'm not focused on the following and all that stuff. I'm just focused on doing the content.
Yeah. But I actually agree with that philosophy, is that, sometimes you can have really great ideas and put them out there, and it might take a while. I mean, we used to say when we launched a new product in food service, it was 18 months before that product really took hold. And so you had that adoption or the adoption period. You had people getting to know it. And then, sometimes things just take time, and you can recycle content. I think that's the other thing people don't realize. If you had a great idea a year ago and it's still applicable today, bring the idea back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, listen, we have boards all over the place with things written on them. I mean, I don't even know if I should mention any of this stuff, because it's funny, like one of those things, like where you mention something and then 3 days later you see someone doing it. You're like, what the? They stole my idea. But you know what? A lot of these ideas, we all probably share a lot of the same ideas in some cases, But we're talking about, I'm just going to call it, like we call it wreck shit. And so we pull out a lot of equipment from job sites that is just
now I got it.
So instead of bringing it to the dumps, so we're starting to accumulate some of the stuff here, and I'm going to go out there and we're going to like take a sledgehammer to it. We're going to de-stress. We're going to be like, and this is what happens. This is where all food equipment, that goes to die, kind of thing. And we're just going to have like a whole thing and just destroy it.
So you're creating the food service island of misfit toys.
Exactly. It's like we should create, like I told her, we should create like a rage room of just food equipment that is, greased up, it's used up, it's done, it's 10 years old, it's 15 years old, or whatever, and we're just gonna take sledgehammers to it.
Yes. I need invited to this because I don't know if you saw, it was so funny. So I'll share this because, and again, great example, right? Who watches your live series might not be the same followers that watch another series. So I'm going to bring a story from it. Someone said something about boxing gloves, or it was Jason Wange from FSPN. Hey, Jason, if you're out there.
Jason.
I love Jason. He was interviewing me, and somehow at the very beginning, he said something about me taking like knockout punches, or I don't know how he got on the subject, but he was just making, a thing. And the fun fact was, I used to train in boxing, not like as a boxer, but I mean, that was how I got my exercise with, trainer.
Cardio and all that stuff. Yeah.
So the funniest part is that I was telling him the story, and I'll share with everyone today, is that, so my trainer started to get to know like my clients and stuff and whatever in the industry. And this is like 10 years ago. So, I mean, you imagine in the thick of it with sales management, right? Like you have got at least 5 people crawling up your, you know what, at all times, right? And so he'd know who was like on my list that week, and he holds the pads up and he'd call out their name or whatever. And so I'm like,
That's great.
That's awesome.
I got all my aggression out. I was the nicest sales manager after that.
That might be a whole other series for Craeve Co. Like a whole other, you know, after Food Service Fridays, maybe that's like, I don't know, Rage Mondays.
Yeah. Raging Mondays with Craeve Co.
Mondays.
I do want to comments, but before I do, I did want to comment on going back to the algorithm stuff and that discussion in the Facebook group. Something that I've been looking at and just kind of assessing is that Facebook kind of wants you to use all of their new tools that are in either your personal Facebook feed or in the groups. And so that's why I'm going to start implementing using the chats and the room features that are in our Facebook group, because those are the newest features. And Facebook is definitely going to be pushing that in the algorithm and like on the highest on the timeline. So
yeah.
But
it's a good tip. And you know what? And to turn that into a teaching lesson for anyone listening, right? Because, okay, listen, we're marketing minded people. So yeah, we dig into this stuff, and hence why Food Service Fridays. So like I can give you a digestible tip, right? But you're right that when they launch new features or when something comes up, usually it's like a gaming system, right? You know, they game it to get you to try the new thing. So it makes sense, you know.
Yeah. All right, let me bring in these comments here.
Some comments.
Jason says, I like the idea of batch content creation and then keep adding to it. Great tip. And then he has a question. Do you set a limit on editing time so that they are not overproduced in lieu of being able to get the content out there timely? I warned you I would be on and active. Thanks,
we're very happy that you're on and active, by the way.
Yes. It's great. First off, it's really great. This is what social is all about. And also, Jason, just know, and I'm sure you do know this, but when you put out those questions, it gives other people, you know, the confidence to ask and to talk, right? Because that's half the battle, you know.
So true.
So I think it was this time limit on editing. Oh, good Lord, I don't know. Probably at some point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at least you could jump in on that too. I mean, with the editing thing, I don't know. I mean, I have my opinion on it, but I'm not really doing the editing. So
yeah.
I don't think I have a time limit because I am a perfectionist. So I'll like keep working on something until I'm happy. But I think it also ties into just how natural Rich is on camera. It does allow for me to keep it flowing naturally so it doesn't feel edited.
Sure.
I do cut out a lot of Rich's I guess filler dialogue in certain situations, but I still do make sure to prioritize that it is pretty natural.
Yeah. So, and I think to your point, Jason, maybe a tip that I would say whenever we were filming, and this is just the style that I did, right? Because I do better a little bit ad lib. If I try to read too much, at least that I were having this discussion, I just get almost robotic, and it's not Chelsea. I'm a naturally gregarious, outgoing person. If I follow that, I kind of keep that close. I take a take, you know, take my pauses, do it again, take my pauses, do it again. So that way we have, you know, several versions of each nugget. And then at that point, to be fair to what you brought up, I just accept that unless I said something egregiously wrong, which that's why there's other people there who are listening to what I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. Then I'm going to live with it. And I'm okay with that. And I think getting over that fear and just saying, you know, it's not going to be 100%. We're not making a multi-billion-dollar movie over here. We're just trying to teach people some marketing stuff for food service. Like,
yeah,
that's actually another great tip, Chelsea. A lot of people put so much emphasis on quality, but you know, don't realize that you should just post it. Just post something.
and get feedback and be open to feedback and ask people that will give you feedback. True story. When we were putting out the trailer, so to speak, for Food Service Fridays, it was a lot longer, the first cut. And I didn't feel there was something about it that I was like, like, is there really value in the last, I don't know, 45 seconds? And I kept asking, my team was like, yes, no. So we asked somebody else and they said, Chelsea, I don't know. I think you could live without that. And so I said, okay, let's try it. We tried it. And it was just a moment of like, that's it. And so we put out a lot shorter version than we intended to originally. So
yeah. I mean, listen, people's attention spans today, like everything's so quick. It's like we got to make sure we're getting to the point, especially in like the first 3 seconds. We gotta say something that's gonna be like, I better stay here and listen. I want to hear more about this type thing, and that's very hard to do. And some things are gonna hit, some things aren't, and you could do the trial and everything. I mean, that's what we're doing here. I mean, I've been doing that, since 2018, since I got my confidence and my gumption to actually go do it, because I thought about it for a long time too before I did. But you get to that point where it's like, okay, you know what? I think I know what I'm talking about the business, about where I am. A lot of it is my opinion and how I'm doing things. But you know what? If I've been here a long time, if you've been doing what you've done a long time, you have input, you have expertise, you have something to give, and you want to bring value to other people, and that's how you start connecting. So, yeah.
And if people disagree with you, that's okay too.
It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one salesperson doesn't sell the same as another salesperson. Something different works for everyone. Sure, there's best practices and, there's definitely things that you want to avoid. But that doesn't mean you can't have your own style. If everything was the same, why would it be interesting? Why would we listen to it? So
it's it. Yeah. And everybody's unique. Everyone has their own thing. So many people like, I have, no one's going to want to see me. You don't know that, and well, maybe you're right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe nobody did want to, but let the market decide, let the people tell you that, you'll, if no one's watching, you're going to know after a year or 2 or 3, but you got to do it, and you got to do it consistently. And I know it's hard. Believe me, I know it's hard. I mean, I was watching one of my older videos from when I went to NRA, and I could see, I was like, hey guys, this is Rich Malik. And I'm like, I was more like, I feel like I was in my head thinking too much. And now I'm just like, now I just talk.
Yeah.
But it's also great to, when you start building all this, I have like close to 800 videos now, I think. When you can go back and look and see how you've progressed, you're like, wow, I really have, we really have progressed. It's gotten a little bit better.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
That's a major feat. 800 videos. You should be really proud of that. I mean, seriously, the amount of editing, the amount of hours and time. And I think that's something too with video, we're not going to sit here and tell you it's the easiest thing in the world. If it's the easiest thing in the world, then everybody would be doing it. Right.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean don't go for it. And it doesn't mean don't learn and don't do your own version and don't try. And I mean, I think, what's the phrase about innovation? So what's the necessity? Come on. What's this phrase? Oh my gosh. File X is going to fail me right now.
And innovation comes out of necessity. Innovation comes from a necessity.
Like something along the lines of I don't know. There's opportunity in
Someone help us
on the chat. Put it in right now because
someone in there help us. I know Jason probably knows.
Let me bring in these other comments here. Jason says, I love evergreen content. I use it a lot. You are always gaining people and they may not have seen the content. Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, I repurpose tweet right all the time.
Yes.
I mean, I'm reposting things that's evergreen over and over and over again. I do it in different places at different times, and it's interesting to see some of the responses. The first time you put it up, you get nothing, and then 3 months later, I put the same thing up, and I'm like, I got this conversations going. I'm like, whoa, it's interesting.
Yeah. And, so Michael says it is innovation comes from necessity.
All right, so there you go.
No one really was that simple, Rich. We're over here trying to come up with this super
innovation comes from the bottom to the top around of the necessities of life. No, we don't know what that is.
You're like, whatever. It's just this. We had it.
Yeah.
And Mike says necessity is the mother of innovation.
That's what it was.
There we go.
You got it. That's what it was. Necessity is the mother of innovation. I knew mother was in there somewhere, but I didn't want to say it and sound silly.
There you go. Mike helped us out. I like it. So
let's see. And then the other comments were in regards to
back to our raging.
The raging. Taz says, I'm throwing chairs on Thursday.
Listen, I want to see that video, Taz. I want to see it.
And Quinn says, like Greeks breaking plates at weddings, every day is a good day to toss a chair.
Hey, why not?
There's another series for you. Chair toss Thursday. Toss a chair Thursday.
Chair tossing.
Anything's possible. Listen, anything's possible. That might work on TikTok. Who knows?
Oh, yes.
Because I've been doing a lot more on TikTok lately. Just like everyday stuff. Even myself, I'm making pasta. I'm eating cereal. Like I'm doing all kinds of weird, different things on my TikTok. So
it's funny. You know TikTok. I got onto TikTok way long time ago. Honestly, there's probably some account that's sitting out there that I should probably track down. Who knows, right? And this was at the very beginning. And then I remember, and it's a classic example of kind of like you kick yourself sometimes, like about investing in Bitcoin and things like that, right? And I remember at the time being like, this is just too much for me. This was before Craeve, right? And so same thing, I almost like put off TikTok for a while, not because I think it's a great video editor. It's a great way to reach people. Same thing like you, I'm starting to play around with it. You know, I certainly watch, a decent amount on that. But what I like is that you can take the video that you make, right? And I see all the time people bring it over to another medium.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
And do that and just start somewhere. I mean, here we're just getting started in that stuff, and that's okay. So don't feel behind the 8 ball. Just do it. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been taking all my TikTok stuff and putting it everywhere, throwing the songs in, the captions, and everything. I think it is a great tool to use. I've been bringing it over to LinkedIn. It's been good. I'm starting to enjoy it more, and I think at some point, hopefully, we'll start utilizing it in a little bit of a different way. I told Lisa I want to do more how-tos over there, more like quick shots of just like fun stuff that we're gonna do. But we'll get there eventually. But start somewhere, just do it. I mean, do something. It's better than nothing. And I know we're getting close to, it's already 3:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but just to talk a little bit about some of the things too, as far as paid advertising, because actually when I did my talk at MOFC, people wanted to know, Rich, how much are you spending on paid advertising? And the answer was really zero. I mean, we're not really spending anything on the content we're putting out. We're just doing organic stuff, but we are actually in the process of looking into doing some more paid stuff in some different areas. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on paid advertising for the people.
Sure. I mean, we have clients that do it, right? And remember, our clients, we even have end user clients. So we have clients that are restaurants, right? We have clients that are manufacturers. We have clients that, that dreaded word, sell direct, right? Because they might not be fully in food service in the same ways as other manufacturers, right? But paid advertising, it's funny. I think sometimes, and I'm going to put this out there and people can disagree with me, so get ready to chatter, right? It gets a bad rap when really it shouldn't, because this should be part of your marketing budget. If you have something of significance to sell, say, service, you have a target audience. Why on earth would you not say, you know what? I'm going to drop $10 behind this. I'm going to drop $100 behind this, and I'm going to see if that results in something. We have had instances where paid advertising, literally the silliest of small things and changes. Like, I'm not kidding you. One time we changed a photo to what we considered as marketers a terrible photo for a client. Took off. I mean, they got more orders than they had ever gotten before because they thought that this product was being like whittled in somebody's backyard, or I don't know what people thought, but for whatever reason. And so we were like, okay, the data tells us that this is what to do. Put money behind it. That did bananas. And it was hilarious because it went against everything we thought as marketers and as salespeople. We've had other times where we said, oh yeah, we've got it. We've nailed this audience. We know exactly what we're doing. Totally. did the advertising, paid, nothing came from it. It's a process.
Yeah.
And I believe in it. I truly do, but I believe in it with the right strategy behind it when I say that, and that you could waste a lot of money if you just throw it around here and there. If you need to test and you need to look at who you're trying to reach and why. So
yeah. As Jason Hartman
100%.
says, paid needs its own strategy, but it is extremely effective, especially if targeted correctly. It is a tool to use as needed.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's 100% right. And use it strategically, right? But I think there's a lot of room for it in our industry. I really do. And, and I'll be the first to admit, sometimes I even forget, but I will tell everyone, like, don't think of it as a bad thing. Think of it as laser focusing your message to the right person who, if you get it right, you strike gold. So
yes, it's very true. And you only get to learn that by doing, so yeah, I think that's one of those things. Is like, we don't have any money in the budget, but this is marketing 2022. It's there's in this industry, is still working their way to wrap their heads around it all. And I think it's coming though. I think you're going to see, you're probably going to see your business increase tremendously in the next 3 to 5 years, because people are going to be wrapping their heads around this stuff, and they're not going to be the experts in that area, and they're going to need someone to come and do it. Like we're going, we're going to work with the company to do some other things to help us with Facebook and different things that we're going to be doing. It's okay to do that, but you got to allocate those dollars properly, because you could really waste a lot of money and a lot of time. If you don't understand how to use Facebook, I think I went to see somebody, Carlos Gill, actually. I don't know if he said the one who initially said this, but don't be mad at Facebook because you suck at marketing. There's a science to these ads, and you can't just boost a post and do this haphazardly and think like, oh, I boosted this post for $15. I'm probably going to get a lot of sales from it now.
Doesn't work that way.
No.
But I also think though that you have to be willing to lose that $15 to learn something, right?
True.
So you do it smart, you put your best foot forward, and then you test and you find out what works. I mean, there's A/B testing, there's all kinds of stuff you can program in Google AdWords too. I mean, there's a whole plethora of ads that you can pay to play. And you get an expert or you get somebody to help you, but know your audience, know who you're trying to target, why you're trying to target. And then what works, do more of it, so that would be my baseline advice there.
There you have it. So we are at 3:40 p.m. We've talked about a lot. And Jason Hartman and Taz and Quentin and Mike and everybody watching, we appreciate you. Anything before we go though, website, what's the website?
Craeve.com, spelled Craeve.com. So it's my first initial, my middle name with a VE on it. So yeah, did you get that? Not everybody gets that. So that's where the spelling came from, my middle name.
I like that.
Craeve.com is our website. Food Service Fridays is the hashtag that we're using, as well as the theme that we're going for with our YouTube. It takes a long time until YouTube gives you, I think, your own handle. You have to have a certain level of followers. So right now, you can
you need 100 subscribers, and then you could make
That's
it.
What I was gonna say. It's like 100.
/Craeve. Yeah. So you'll be able to. So we gotta go make sure we follow.
I was just gonna say we hit 100 subscribers on the Fed TV channel, so now I can do that.
Yeah. I was in the group. I posted. I said, "Come on, we're like 7 away. Somebody subscribe. There's 1,200 people here. Somebody." So we did get that finally. It took us a long time, but so we'll make sure we're gonna go subscribe to Craeve on YouTube. And before we go too, you are going to be at FedCon,
yes,
on our big panel of leveraging content for the food service industry. First of all, we're very happy to have you. We're grateful you're coming out. Really excited to get everybody together. Any just to give like the people, like tell people to come to FedCon. That's the bottom line.
So come to FedCon, because first off, you get to have drinks with all these cool people, and listen, you're going to learn all kinds of crazy stuff just from that, right? So a bunch of free advice is around that watering hole. But also, I think that, what I can say is, look, we've all been somewhat on different levels locked up for 2 years. Get out there, learn something, talk to people, travel, have conversations. You got to start somewhere. So I hope to see a lot of people there. I'm really excited for what I'm going to learn from it, and the people I'm going to network with in a whole other group, I'm sure. And I definitely encourage people, we got to start somewhere. So come out, hang out with us, and let's all learn together.
I love it. Thank you very much. And yeah, anything else? Anything else? Did we cover all these?
Covered it all.
All right. I feel good. Do you feel good?
I feel great.
All right. So you go off into the rest of your day. I know you got another meeting coming up. Thank you for the time and the wisdom we're dropping on people here and Fed Nation. That is it. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, Chelsea.
Hey, thanks for the time, and thank you for doing this, because I think us all coming together, I know we can't say it enough, but it really means something, and that we're all stronger together, right? And so I just appreciate the time. Everybody watching, thank you so much. Thanks, Jason. You had a lot of great comments. That was awesome. And will he be at FedCon? Will Jason be at FedCon?
We're working on him. I don't know.
Come on, Jason. Do it.
We're working. So, all right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chelsea. Everyone have a beautiful rest of your day. Go make it count. See you mañana.
See ya.